The champagne cork popped with a satisfying burst, and Isabel Monroe couldn't help but smile as her small team erupted in cheers. 5 years. 5 years since she'd launched Monroe Marketing from her cramped one-bedroom apartment with nothing but a laptop, a dream, and a sleeping infant in the next room. Speech. Nina Chen, her best friend and office manager, thrust a glass into her hand. Come on, boss lady, say something inspirational. Isabel laughed, looking around at the modest but modern office space they'd moved into just last year. 12 employees now, all gathered in the conference room with its view of the Seattle skyline. Not bad for a girl who'd once run away from $50 million. Okay. She raised her glass. 5 years ago, I had no idea what I was doing. I had a newborn, no money, and a business degree I'd never actually used. But I had something more important. I had people who believed in me. Her eyes found Nina's. Thank you for taking a chance on a mess of a woman who could barely keep her eyes open during that first interview. You offered me equity and free coffee, Nina shot back. I'm easy. The laughter felt good, normal, safe. This was the life Isabel had built from scratch without anyone's help, without anyone's money. It was hers. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She ignored it. These moments were rare enough. Lily would be out of kindergarten in an hour, and then it would be the usual chaos of dinner, bath time, bedtime stories, and collapsing into bed only to do it all again tomorrow. The phone buzzed again, and again. Nina noticed her expression change. Everything okay? Probably just the school. But Isabel's stomach tightened as she pulled out her phone. 7 missed calls, 12 texts, all from numbers she didn't recognize. The first text made her blood run cold. Is it true? Marcus Blackwood's secret daughter. Her hands shook as she opened her email. The subject line from Google Alerts, a service she'd set up years ago and never canceled, some form of self-torture she couldn't quite explain. Read. Marcus Blackwood mentioned in Seattle Business Journal. She clicked. The article wasn't about Marcus, not really. It was a fluff piece about local businesses, featuring her own company in a section about successful women entrepreneurs. There was a photo from Lily's kindergarten career day last week, Isabel kneeling next to her daughter, both of them grinning at the camera. Lily with her dark curls and bright green eyes. Those unmistakable Blackwood green eyes. The photo had been picked up by TechCrunch, then by a gossip blog, then another. The caption that kept appearing, mystery solved. Marcus Blackwood's ex-wife spotted with daughter 5, who bears striking resemblance to tech billionaire. Oh God, the champagne glass slipped from her fingers. Nina caught it just in time. Belle, what's wrong? But Isabel was already grabbing her coat, her keys, her bag. I have to get Lily. I have to. She couldn't finish the sentence. 6 years. She kept this secret for 6 years. And now, because of one stupid photo and one stupid article, everything was about to fall apart. She made it to Lily's school in record time, breaking at least 3 traffic laws. Her daughter was waiting in the after-school care room, building a tower out of blocks with 2 other kids. When she saw Isabel, her whole face lit up. Mommy, you're early. Isabel scooped her up, breathing in the smell of apple juice and crayons. Special treat today, baby. Let's go home. In the car, Lily chattered about her day, something about finger painting and a boy named Jacob who ate paste, while Isabel's mind raced. She needed a plan. She needed to disappear, maybe. Change their names again. Move to another city. Canada. Was Canada far enough? Her phone rang. Unknown number. She declined it. It rang again. Different unknown number. Mommy, your phone is loud, Lily observed from her car seat. I know, sweetie. Mommy's phone is being annoying today. They made it home to their small 2-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. Isabel had bought it 2 years ago, her first real taste of stability and permanence. Now she looked at it and saw only vulnerability. How long before reporters showed up here? She was making Lily a snack when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole she saw him. 6 years. 6 years since she'd seen Marcus Blackwood in person, and yet her body remembered him instantly. The way her heart stuttered, then raced. The way her breath caught. The way every nerve ending suddenly came alive. He looked different, older, harder. His dark hair was shorter now, styled with deliberate precision. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her mortgage payment. But those eyes, those green eyes that Lily had inherited, were the same, except now they were looking at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Fury, pain, both. She didn't open the door. "Isabel," his voice was muffled but audible. "I know you're there, we need to talk." "Go away, Marcus." I saw the photo. Her hand pressed against the door as if she could hold him out through sheer will. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't," the single word was sharp. "Don't lie to me, not about this. I did the math, Isabel, I know she's mine." Behind her, Lily called out, "Mommy, who's at the door?" Isabel heard Marcus inhale sharply. She closed her eyes. There was no talking her way out of this. No more running. She opened the door. Marcus Blackwood stood on her front porch looking like he'd been punched in the gut. For a moment, they just stared at each other. All the years, all the hurt, all the words unsaid hanging in the air between them. "You had my daughter," he said quietly, "and you didn't tell me. You said loving you was a mistake." The words came out harder than she intended. "What was I supposed to do? Trap you with a baby you didn't want?" Something flashed in his eyes. "That's not," he stopped himself, jaw clenching. "This isn't a conversation for your doorstep. Can I come in?" "No." "Isabel." "Mommy." Lily appeared at her side, clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit. She looked up at Marcus with open curiosity. "Who's that?" Isabel watched as Marcus's entire world shifted. He stared at Lily, his daughter, and she watched his throat work as he swallowed hard. When he crouched down to be at her eye level, his hands were shaking. "Hi," he said, voice rough. I'm Marcus. I'm a friend of your mom's." Lily studied him with the serious consideration only a 5-year-old could muster. "You have green eyes like me." "I do." "And your hair is curly." "Mine is curly too, but Mommy tries to make it not curly sometimes and it doesn't work." A ghost of a smile crossed Marcus's face. "Yeah, curly hair is stubborn." "Are you here for dinner? We're having mac and cheese, the good kind from the box. Not the kind Mommy tries to make healthy." Despite everything, Isabel almost laughed. Almost. Marcus stood up, and when he looked at her again, there was something raw in his expression. "We need to talk, please." She wanted to say no, wanted to slam the door in his face and pretend the last 10 minutes hadn't happened. But Lily was watching, and Isabel had never been good at lying to her daughter. "Lily, go play in your room for a few minutes, okay? I need to talk to Mr. Marcus." "But—" "Now, please." Lily huffed but obeyed, shooting one last curious look at Marcus before disappearing down the hallway. Isabel stepped outside, pulling the door mostly closed behind her. "You have 5 minutes." "Why didn't you tell me?" The question came out like he'd been holding it in for hours, days, maybe the entire drive here. "When you left, when you found out you were pregnant, why didn't you tell me? You made it very clear that our marriage was business only, that the night we spent together was a mistake. Those were your exact words, Marcus. It was a mistake, Isabel. This is a contract, nothing more. So I left. And took my daughter." "She wasn't your daughter then. She was just a cluster of cells I was terrified of and didn't know what to do with." Her voice cracked. "You didn't want me. Why would you want her?" "That's not fair." "Fair?" Isabel laughed bitterly. "You want to talk about fair? I was 25 years old, broke, in love with a man who couldn't stand the sight of me after we slept together, and pregnant. I had nothing, Marcus. No money, no family, no plan. And you had everything. Your company, your trust fund, your perfect little contract. So no, I didn't tell you. I left, I changed my name back, and I built a life for us." Marcus ran a hand through his hair, a gesture she remembered from their marriage. He always did that when he was frustrated. "I've been looking for you, for years. Private investigators, every database I could access. You disappeared." "That was the point. I want to meet her properly." "No, Isabel. You don't get to walk back into our lives just because you saw a photo. You don't get to decide you want to be a father now that it's convenient." "Convenient?" His voice rose slightly. "Finding out I have a 5-year-old daughter through a tabloid blog is convenient." "Keep your voice down." They glared at each other. God, how had they gotten here? 6 years ago, she'd loved this man so completely it had nearly destroyed her. Now she could barely stand to look at him. Except that was a lie. She could look at him. She had looked at him over the years whenever she was weak enough to Google his name. She'd seen the photos, Marcus at galas with beautiful women on his arm, Marcus at tech conferences, Marcus on the cover of Forbes. She tortured herself with images of him living his perfect life while she changed diapers at 3 a.m. and learned how to run a business through sheer desperation. "I'm not trying to disrupt your life," Marcus said quietly, "but she's my daughter. I have a right." "You have nothing. Legally, you're not on her birth certificate. You have no parental rights." His expression went cold. "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact." "Fine, then let me present you with another fact. I have an entire legal team on retainer. If you want to do this the hard way, we can, but I'd rather not put Lily through that." He pulled a business card from his pocket. "Think about it. I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Call me when you're ready to be reasonable." He turned to leave, and Isabel felt something twist in her chest. This was wrong. All of it was wrong. "Marcus, wait." He stopped. I'm not trying to keep her from you. I just need time to figure out how to do this." When he turned back, some of the hardness had left his face. "I've already missed 5 years. I don't want to miss any more. She doesn't know who you are. She's never even asked about her father. I don't know how to explain this to her." "Then let's figure it out together." He hesitated. "Please." Isabel looked at the business card in her hand. Marcus Blackwood, CEO, Blackwood Technologies, as if she could forget. "I need to think about it. I'll give you 24 hours. Then I'm coming back whether you're ready or not." He walked back to his car, a sleek black Tesla that probably cost more than her house, and drove away. Isabel stood on her porch for a long moment, trying to remember how to breathe. Inside, Lily was waiting with approximately zero patience. "Who was that man, Mommy?" "Just someone I used to know." "He seemed sad. Was he sad?" Isabel pulled her daughter into her lap on the couch, tucking Lily's wild curls behind her ear. "Maybe a little." "Why?" "Because I kept you from him for 5 years. Because I was scared and hurt and maybe a little bit selfish. Because I didn't trust him not to break my heart again." "It's complicated, baby." Lily accepted this with the easy grace of a child who trusted her mother to handle all the complicated things. "Can we have mac and cheese now?" "Yeah, we can have mac and cheese." That night, after Lily was asleep, Isabel sat at her kitchen table with a glass of wine and stared at Marcus's business card. Nina had come over after a frantic phone call and now sat across from her with her own glass. "So," Nina said, "Marcus Blackwood showed up at your house." "Yep." "And he knows about Lily." "Yep." "What are you going to do?" Isabel took a long drink. "I have no idea." "He can't just demand access to her. You're her mother. You've been raising her alone for 5 years." "He mentioned lawyers." Nina's expression darkened. "Of course he did. Billionaire's solution to everything. Throw money and lawyers at it until you get what you want." "He has rights, Nina. She's his daughter." "Rights he gave up when he treated you like garbage and drove you away." "He didn't know I was pregnant." Because he made you feel like you couldn't tell him. Nina leaned forward. Belle, I love you, but you have got to stop making excuses for him. He broke your heart. He let you leave with nothing. And now he shows up 6 years later and wants to play daddy. Lily deserves to know her father. Does she? Or does she deserve to be protected from a man who might hurt her the way he hurt you? Isabel had no answer for that. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It's Marcus. I know you haven't decided yet, but I want you to know I'm not trying to take her from you. I just want to be her father, whatever that looks like. Another buzz. Also, she's beautiful. She looks like you. Isabel's eyes burned with unexpected tears. She typed back, she looks like you. Everyone says so. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, can I see her? Tomorrow, just for an hour. You can be there the whole time. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was it. The moment that would change everything. Once she said yes, there was no going back. Marcus would be in their lives, in Lily's life. And Isabel would have to watch her daughter fall in love with the same man who'd broken her mother's heart. But Lily deserved a father, didn't she? Saturday, 10 a.m., the park on Westlake, 1 hour. Thank you. She set the phone down and finished her wine in one long swallow. You're really doing this, Nina said quietly. I have to for Lily. And for you. Isabel closed her eyes. There is no for me anymore. There's only her. Saturday morning dawned gray and drizzly, typical Seattle weather. Isabel dressed Lily in her favorite purple raincoat and rain boots, trying not to let her nerves show. Where are we going, Mommy? To the park. But it's raining. Just a little, we can jump in puddles. Lily's eyes lit up. Puddles were always a win. Marcus was already there when they arrived, standing under a large oak tree near the playground. He dressed down jeans and a dark jacket, but he still looked out of place among the families and dog walkers. Too polished, too careful. When Lily spotted him, she tilted her head. That's the sad man from our house. His name is Marcus, remember. Why is he here? Isabel crouched down, taking her daughter's small hands in hers. Sweetie, Marcus he's someone very special. He wants to spend some time with us today. Is that okay? Lily shrugged with the indifference of a child who didn't understand the gravity of the moment. Okay, can I go on the swings? In a minute. They walked over to Marcus together. Up close, Isabel could see the tension in his jaw, the uncertainty in his eyes. She'd never seen Marcus Blackwood uncertain about anything. Hi, he said, looking at Lily like she might disappear if he blinked. Thank you for coming. We can't stay long, Isabel said quickly. She has a birthday party at noon. Right, of course. He knelt down again, bringing himself to Lily's level. So, Lily, your mom tells me you like swings. And the slide. And the monkey bars, but I can't do all of them yet. Only the first 3. That's pretty good. I bet you'll get all of them soon. Do you have kids? The question hit him visibly. No, just you. Lily frowned, confused. But I'm not your kid. Isabel's heart clenched. Marcus looked at her, desperate, asking permission for something they hadn't discussed. She gave a tiny nod. Actually, Marcus said carefully, I'm your dad. The words hung in the air. Lily stared at him, processing. Then she turned to Isabel. Mommy. It's true, baby. Marcus is your father. But I don't have a father. You said he had to go away. I did, and I'm sorry I wasn't more clear. But he's here now, and he wants to get to know you. Lily looked back at Marcus with those brilliant green eyes, his eyes, and asked the question that broke both of their hearts. Are you going to leave again? Marcus's voice was rough when he answered. No, I'm not going anywhere, I promise. Emma's daddy left and never came back. Her mommy cries sometimes. I'm not going to do that to you, or to your mom. Lily considered this with the seriousness of a tiny judge. Finally, she said, Okay, you can push me on the swings. And just like that, Marcus Blackwood's world changed. Isabel watched from a nearby bench as Marcus pushed Lily on the swings. Her daughter's laughter rang out across the park, pure and joyful. Marcus was smiling too, a real smile, not the calculated one she'd seen in photos over the years. He looked younger suddenly, happier. After the swings came the slide, then the monkey bars where Marcus lifted Lily up to reach the one she couldn't get to on her own. They played hide and seek among the trees. They jumped in puddles together, both of them getting soaked and not caring. Isabel's phone alarm went off. Noon, time to go. Lily, sweetie, we need to leave for the party. But I don't want to go. For the first time in months, Lily looked ready to throw a tantrum. I want to stay with my dad. My dad, two words that rewrote everything. Marcus caught Isabel's eye. What if I drove you both to the party, and then maybe dinner tonight, if you're free? Please, Mommy, please. Isabel should say no. She should establish boundaries, keep distance, protect both of them from the inevitable hurt. But Lily was looking at her with such hope, and Marcus was looking at her with something that might have been hope too. Dinner, she heard herself say, but somewhere casual, and we need to talk, really talk. Whatever you want. The birthday party was chaos. 15 kindergartners hopped up on cake and juice, but Marcus handled it with surprising ease. He made balloon animals, apparently a hidden talent, refereed a game of musical chairs, and won over every parent there with his charm. Belle hated how good he was at this, hated how natural he looked with their daughter, hated how much she wanted to believe this could actually work. When they finally got back to Isabel's house, Lily was exhausted and sugar crashed. Marcus carried her inside. She'd fallen asleep in the car and laid her gently on her bed. She's out cold, he whispered. Sugar coma. She'll sleep for an hour, then be wired until midnight. They stood in Lily's doorway, watching her sleep. The moment felt surreal, domestic, like they were a real family instead of two people held together by biology and broken contracts. We should talk, Isabel said finally, before she wakes up. They sat in her small living room, Marcus looking comically out of place on her IKEA couch. He'd shed his wet jacket, and in just a t-shirt and jeans, he looked more like the man she'd married. Younger, more vulnerable. I don't even know where to start, he admitted. Why did you push me away? The question came out before she could stop it. That night, why did you say it was a mistake? Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. Because I was falling in love with you, and I couldn't let that happen. Isabel felt the air leave her lungs. What? The contract marriage was supposed to be simple. 2 years, we both get what we need, we walk away clean. But you, he looked at her and the expression on his face was gutting. You made me laugh. You called me out on my bullshit. You saw through all the walls I'd built and didn't care about the money or the company or any of it. You just saw me, and I was terrified. So you pushed me away. I told myself I was protecting the arrangement, keeping things professional, but really I was protecting myself. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. When I woke up next to you that morning, I knew I was in trouble. I knew if I let myself love you, I'd never recover. So I did the cruelest thing I could think of. I made you believe it meant nothing. Isabel's hands were shaking. You have no idea what that did to me. I know. I saw it on your face, and I hated myself for it, but I was too much of a coward to take it back. And when I left, I thought I'd feel relieved. Instead, I felt like I'd lost the only real thing in my life. He looked up at her. I tried to find you. I had investigators searching for months. But you changed your name back, moved, disappeared completely. Eventually, I had to accept that you were gone. And you moved on. I saw the photos, Marcus, all those women. He laughed bitterly. You think that was moving on? That was me trying to prove I didn't need anyone, trying to bury what I felt for you under enough distractions that maybe I'd forget. He met her eyes. It didn't work. Nothing worked. Isabel didn't know what to do with this information. For 6 years, she told herself a story about Marcus Blackwood, cold, calculating, incapable of real feeling. But the man sitting in front of her, looking at her like she was the only thing holding him together, didn't match that story. Why are you telling me this now? Because you deserve to know the truth, and because, he hesitated. Because when I saw that photo of Lily, I realized what I'd actually lost. Not just you, not just the possibility of us, but a whole life, a daughter, 5 years of bedtimes and first words and scraped knees and everything that matters. His voice cracked. I can't get those years back, but I need to be there for whatever comes next. She barely knows you. Then let me change that, please. Before Isabel could respond, her phone rang. Nina's name flashed on the screen. I should take this. She stepped into the kitchen. Hey. Belle, have you seen the news? Nina's voice was tight with worry. What news? There are photos of Marcus at the birthday party. Someone posted them online, and now every gossip site is running with the story. Marcus Blackwood's secret daughter confirmed, that kind of thing. Isabel's stomach dropped. Oh God. It's everywhere. TMZ, page 6. Even legitimate news sites are picking it up. Your phone's going to start ringing any minute. As if on cue, her doorbell rang, then rang again and again. Marcus appeared in the kitchen doorway. There are people outside with cameras. Isabel looked out the window and saw them. A small crowd of photographers and reporters on her quiet residential street. Her neighbors were coming out of their houses, curious about the commotion. This can't be happening. Marcus was already on his phone. I'm calling my security team. They'll clear them out. You can't just clear them out. This is my home, my neighborhood. Then what do you want to do? Let them camp on your lawn. Lily's voice called from her bedroom. Mommy, why is it so loud? Isabel felt panic rising in her chest. This was exactly what she'd been afraid of. The media circus, the invasion of privacy, her daughter being thrust into a spotlight she never asked for. I need you to leave, she said to Marcus. What? This is your fault. They're here because of you, so please just go. I'm not leaving you to deal with this alone. You don't get to decide that. They stared at each other, the old hurt rising up between them again. Then Marcus did something that surprised her. He stepped back. Okay, I'll go, but my security team stays. They'll make sure no one bothers you or Lily. He pulled out his phone again, typing quickly. I'm also sending my lawyer. She'll help you draft a statement if you want one, or she can just keep them away. Whatever you need. I don't want your help. Too bad, you're getting it anyway. He grabbed his jacket. I'll call you tomorrow. He left through the back door to avoid the cameras, and Isabel stood in her kitchen feeling like her carefully constructed life was crumbling around her. Lily appeared in the doorway clutching her stuffed rabbit. Mommy, I'm scared. Who are all those people? Isabel scooped her up, holding her tight. Just some silly people who are very confused. They'll go away soon. Where did my dad go? My dad, it still didn't sound real. He had to leave for a bit, but he'll be back. Promise. Isabel thought about Marcus's face when he'd seen Lily for the first time. The way he'd looked at their daughter like she was the most precious thing in the world. Whatever else was true about him, she believed that much. He wasn't going anywhere. Promise. True to his word, Marcus's security team arrived within 20 minutes. They were professional and efficient, clearing the reporters from the property with polite but firm authority. A lawyer showed up too, a sharp-eyed woman named Patricia Chen who explained she specialized in privacy law. Mr. Blackwood wants to ensure you and your daughter are protected, Patricia said. I can file for a restraining order against any press that harasses you. I can also help manage any statements you want to make, or help you avoid making any statements at all. I don't understand why this is such a big story. Patricia gave her a sympathetic look. Marcus Blackwood is one of the most eligible bachelors in tech. His personal life has been tabloid fodder for years. The revelation that he has a secret daughter from a secret marriage, that's front-page news. But we're not news. We're just people trying to live our lives. I know, and I'll do everything I can to protect that, but you should prepare yourself. This isn't going away anytime soon. After Patricia left, Isabel sat on her couch and cried. Not because of the reporters or the attention, though that was terrifying enough, but because she'd spent 6 years building a quiet, normal life for Lily. A life where they were safe and anonymous and free. And now, in the span of 48 hours, all of that had been ripped away. Her phone rang. Marcus. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Are you okay? His voice was tight with concern. No, I'm really not. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I never wanted this for you. But it's happening anyway. Let me fix it. How do you fix this, Marcus? There was a long pause. Then, come stay at my place, both of you. It's secure, private. No one can get to you there. Absolutely not. Isabel, I'm not running to you every time things get hard. That's not how this works. Then tell me how it works, because I'm trying to help and you keep pushing me away. Because I don't trust you, the words exploded out of her. I don't trust that you won't hurt us again. I don't trust that this isn't just some novelty to you. Billionaire plays house with his secret daughter until he gets bored. I don't trust that you actually want this, or if you just want to control the narrative. Is that really what you think of me? I don't know what to think of you. I knew you 6 years ago and that man broke my heart. I don't know who you are now. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was different, harder, more businesslike. Then let me be clear about who I am now. I'm a man who just found out he has a daughter. I'm a man who wants to be in her life, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen. If that means lawyers and custody agreements and supervised visits, fine. But I'd rather we figure this out together. As adults, for Lily's sake. Is that a threat? It's a fact. I have rights, Isabel, and I will exercise them if I have to, but I'd rather not, he sighed. Think about what I said about staying at my place. The offer stands. He hung up. Isabel stared at her phone, feeling a toxic mix of anger and fear and something else she didn't want to name, because part of her, a small, treacherous part, had felt a thrill when he'd said whatever it takes. Like maybe he actually meant it this time. The next few days were a nightmare. Reporters camped outside her house despite the security team's best efforts. Lily's school called to inform her that photographers had been spotted near the playground. Her office was flooded with interview requests. Even her clients started asking questions. Nina handled most of it, bless her, but Isabel could see the strain. This wasn't what either of them had signed up for when they'd started the company. On Wednesday, Marcus called again. I need to see you in person. I'm not bringing Lily into the city right now. I'll come to you, please. There's something we need to discuss. He showed up an hour later, and this time he wasn't alone. A woman accompanied him, mid-40s, elegant, carrying a leather portfolio. This is Jennifer Hart, Marcus said. She's my PR director. I think she might have a solution to our problem. They sat in Isabel's living room while Jennifer laid out her proposal. The media frenzy will die down eventually, Jennifer explained. But the best way to control it is to get ahead of the story. I'm proposing a single, exclusive interview with a reputable outlet. You and Marcus together, talking about your relationship, your daughter, and your plans going forward. We control the narrative, answer the questions people are asking, and then move on. Absolutely not, Isabel said immediately. I'm not parading my daughter in front of cameras. Lily wouldn't be involved. This would just be you and Marcus. A conversation about two adults who married young, made some mistakes, and are now trying to do right by their child. And what about the truth? Jennifer raised an eyebrow. What truth? That it was a contract marriage. That Marcus paid me to marry him so he could access his trust fund. That our whole relationship was a business transaction. We leave that part out, Marcus said quietly. You want me to lie? I want us to protect our daughter from information that could hurt her. He leaned forward. Look, I know the truth. You know the truth. But Lily doesn't need to know that her parents' marriage started as a business deal. She needs to know we cared about each other, things didn't work out, and now we're trying to be a family for her sake. That's a pretty story. It's the only story that matters. Isabel hated that he was right. She looked at Jennifer. And if I do this interview, the reporters go away. I can't promise that completely. But yes, once the public's curiosity is satisfied, the interest will fade. You'll be able to go back to your normal life. Normal? Isabel almost laughed. Nothing about her life was normal anymore. I need to think about it. Of course. Jennifer stood, leaving a business card on the coffee table. But I'd recommend moving quickly. The longer we wait, the more the speculation builds. After they left, Isabel sat in the growing darkness of her living room. Through the window, she could see Marcus's security team keeping watch, protecting her. It should have made her feel safe, but instead she felt trapped. Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. I know this is hard. I know you don't want my help, but please let me do this one thing. Let me protect you and Lily the only way I know how. She typed back, and what happens after the interview? Do you just disappear back into your life? His response was immediate, no. I want to be part of Lily's life, really part of it, not just supervised visits and awkward park trips. I want bedtimes and school pickups and dance recitals and everything. That's not realistic. You have a company to run. I can delegate, I can work remotely, I can make it work. Why now after all this time? The three dots appeared and disappeared several times. Finally, because I've spent 6 years living half a life, and I'm tired. I'm tired of pretending I don't care about anything. I'm tired of being the person everyone expects me to be. I want something real. And you and Lily, you're the most real thing I've ever had. Isabel's vision blurred with tears. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him so badly. But believing him meant risking everything again. It meant opening herself up to the possibility of that same devastating hurt. Her phone rang. Nina. Please tell me you're not falling for his bullshit again. I'm not. It's complicated. It's not complicated. He abandoned you once. He'll do it again. He didn't know about Lily. Because you didn't trust him enough to tell him. And you were right not to trust him, Belle. He proved that when he called your night together a mistake. He explained that he was scared. Oh, so being scared gives him a free pass to break your heart. That's convenient. I'm not giving him a free pass. I'm just trying to figure out what's best for Lily. What's best for Lily is having a mother who doesn't get destroyed by a man who's never really going to commit. You know what he's like. You've seen the photos of him with all those women. Do you really think he's changed? Isabel closed her eyes. I don't know. Then protect yourself. Protect Lily. Don't let him back in until you're sure. After they hung up, Isabel made a decision. She texted Marcus, I'll do the interview, but I have conditions. Name them. First, we tell the truth about the contract marriage. I won't lie about that. A long pause. Then that will complicate things. That's my condition. Take it or leave it. Another pause. Fine, what else? Second, if you want to be part of Lily's life, really part of it, then we do this properly. We create a custody arrangement. We establish boundaries. We don't just wing it. Agreed. And third, she hesitated, then typed, you have to tell me why you really pushed me away. The whole truth. Not just the fear of falling in love. There's something else. I know there is. This time the pause was so long she thought he might not respond. Then her phone rang. Hello. Not over text, Marcus said. His voice sounded strained. Can I see you tomorrow, just us? Where? My office, after hours. No press, no interruptions, just you and me and the truth. Isabel's heart was pounding. Okay. Okay, he sounded relieved. Thank you. Marcus. Yeah. Don't make me regret this. I won't, I promise. But as Isabel hung up and went to check on Lily, her beautiful daughter, sleeping peacefully with no idea how much her world was about to change, she couldn't shake the feeling that some promises were impossible to keep. The next evening, Isabel found herself in the elevator of Blackwood Technologies, heading to the 30th floor. The building was impressive, all glass and steel, with Marcus's company logo displayed prominently in the lobby. She'd never seen his office before. During their marriage, she'd kept her distance from his work life, sensing that he needed that separation. The elevator doors opened to a quiet hallway. Most of the staff had gone home for the day. A receptionist who'd clearly been told to expect her pointed toward a corner office. Marcus was standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows when she entered, looking out at the Seattle skyline. He'd changed from his usual suit into jeans and a sweater. It made him look younger, more like the man she'd married. "Thanks for coming," he said, turning to face her. "You said you tell me the truth." "I will," he gestured to a leather couch. "Sit, please." She sat and he took the chair across from her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Marcus took a deep breath. 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. It's a genetic heart condition. It means the walls of my heart are too thick, which makes it harder for my heart to pump blood. Isabel felt her breath catch. What? I was 27. I just married you, the company was taking off, everything was finally coming together. And then I had what I thought was a panic attack during a board meeting. Turned out it was my heart. He looked down at his hands. The doctors told me that with treatment I could manage it, but they also told me that stress could make it worse, that I might not live to see 40, that I definitely shouldn't have children because the condition is hereditary. Oh my God. When you and I got married, it was supposed to be temporary, a business arrangement. I wasn't supposed to fall for you. I wasn't supposed to want more. His voice cracked. But I did. I fell for you so hard it scared me. And the night we slept together, I forgot. I forgot about the condition, forgot about all the reasons I couldn't love you, forgot everything except how much I wanted you. Tears were streaming down Isabel's face. So you pushed me away. I told myself I was protecting you, that you deserved someone who could give you a full life, not someone who might drop dead before 40. He finally looked up at her. I see now how selfish that was. I didn't give you a choice. I just decided for both of us. You should have told me. I know. I would have stayed. I would have fought for you. I know that too. That's why I couldn't tell you. They sat in silence, the weight of 6 years of secrets hanging between them. What about now? Isabel asked quietly. Your heart. I've been in treatment. Medications, lifestyle changes, regular monitoring. My doctor says I'm managing it well. I could live to be 80, or I could have a cardiac event tomorrow. There's no way to know. And Lily. His face crumpled. That's what kills me. I spent 6 years trying not to have children because I didn't want to pass this on. And now I find out I have a daughter who might be living with this condition because of me. We'll get her tested. We'll make sure she's okay. And if she's not, if she has it, then we'll deal with it together. Isabel moved to sit beside him, taking his hands in hers. Marcus, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you went through this alone. I'm sorry I wasn't there. You're here now. She was. And despite everything, despite the hurt and the anger and the 6 years of separation, she realized that some part of her had never really left. They sat together in the darkening office, hands clasped, neither quite ready to let go. Finally, Marcus spoke. There's something else I need to tell you. Something I need to ask you, actually. Isabel pulled back slightly wary. What? The interview Jennifer proposed. It's not the only reason I wanted to talk to you. He stood, moving to his desk and pulling out a folder. My company is going public in 8 months. The IPO is projected to be one of the biggest in tech history, but the board has concerns. Let me guess, your reputation. Exactly. He handed her the folder. Inside were printouts of tabloid articles, each one featuring Marcus with a different woman. I've spent 6 years cultivating the image of a carefree bachelor who doesn't do commitment. It was easier than admitting the truth, that I was a coward who let the best thing in his life walk away. Marcus, the board thinks I'm unstable, a liability. They want to see someone who's settled, responsible, someone who can lead a company worth billions. He paused. They want to see a family man. Isabel's stomach dropped. No. Hear me out. No, absolutely not. You are not using Lily as some kind of prop to fix your image. That's not what I'm asking. He pulled out another document, a contract. I'm asking you to come back, be my wife again. Just for the year leading up to the IPO, we'd live together, present a united front, show the board and the investors that I'm serious about settling down. Isabel stared at the contract like it was a snake. You want another fake marriage. I want a chance to prove I've changed, that I can be the man you needed 6 years ago. He knelt in front of her, and the vulnerability in his eyes was almost painful to see. I know I don't deserve it. I know I hurt you. But Lily deserves to have both her parents in her life. And this way, we can give her that while also setting up her future financially. The payment would be $100 million, Isabel. You'd never have to worry about money again. Lily's college would be paid for. Medical bills for her condition, if she has it, would be covered. You could expand your business, retire early, whatever you want. You're trying to buy me again. I'm trying to give you security and give our daughter a father. He grabbed her hands. Please, just read the contract, think about it. You don't have to decide right now. Isabel looked at the document. The terms were straightforward. 1 year of marriage, living together in his penthouse, public appearances as needed, full parental rights established for Marcus, and at the end, $100 million and an amicable divorce. Or they could choose to stay married. That clause made her heart skip if both parties agreed. This is insane. It's practical. It's a fantasy. You think we can just play house for a year and everything will be fine. What about when Lily gets attached to having you around? What about when the year ends and you go back to your life? What if I don't want to go back? The question hung in the air between them. What if this year is my chance to show you, and Lily, that I can be different? And what if you can't? What if you're still the same man who pushed me away? Then at least we'll know, and Lily will have had a year with both her parents. Isabel stood, needing space from the intensity of his gaze. She walked to the windows, looking out at the city lights. A year. 1 year of pretending to be a family. She'd done it before. The first marriage had been 2 years of pretense. But that was before Lily. Before she knew what real love felt like. Before she understood what she actually had to lose. I need time. How much time? I don't know, a few days, a week. I need to think about what's best for Lily. And for you. She turned to face him. There is no for me anymore, Marcus. There's only what's best for our daughter. But that night, lying in bed, Isabel couldn't stop thinking about the way Marcus had looked at her in his office. The way his voice had cracked when he talked about missing 5 years of Lily's life. The way he'd said, "What if I don't want to go back?" Her phone buzzed. Nina, because of course it was. Please tell me you didn't agree to anything. I didn't, but he made an offer. What kind of offer? The contract marriage kind. There was a long pause, then her phone rang. Are you out of your mind? Nina didn't wait for an answer. Belle, this is exactly what he did last time. He throws money at a problem and expects it to go away. It's not the same. Last time was about his trust fund. This time is about Lily. Is it? Or is it about his company going public and needing to look good for investors? Both, it's both. And you're actually considering it. Isabel closed her eyes. $100 million, Nina. Lily would be set for life, and she'd have her father. She can have her father without you selling yourself again. It's not selling myself. It's a business arrangement. That's what you said last time, and look how that turned out. Isabel had no response to that, because Nina was right. The last contract marriage had ended with Isabel pregnant, heartbroken, and running away in the middle of the night. What made her think this time would be different? Except Marcus was different now, or at least he seemed to be. The man in that office tonight had been raw and honest in a way the younger Marcus never was. He'd shared his deepest vulnerability, his heart condition, his fear of dying young, his guilt over potentially passing it to Lily. That wasn't the behavior of someone playing games. "I have to go," Isabel said. "Lily's calling for me." "Belle, wait." But she hung up and went to her daughter's room. Lily was sitting up in bed, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "I had a bad dream." "Oh, baby." Isabel climbed into the small bed, pulling Lily into her arms. "Want to tell me about it?" "My dad was there, but then he left, and I couldn't find him." Lily's voice was small. "Is he going to leave again?" "No, sweetie, he promised he wouldn't." "But how do you know?" How did she know? She didn't. Not really. But looking at her daughter's scared face, Isabel realized something. Lily needed stability. She needed to know that both her parents were committed to being in her life. And maybe, just maybe, this contract was the way to give her that. "Because he loves you," Isabel said, "and people who love you don't leave." "Do you love him?" The question caught her off guard. "That's complicated, Lily." "But you were married. Married people love each other." "Sometimes, but sometimes people get married for other reasons." "Like what?" "Like wanting to help each other, or wanting to be friends." Lily considered this with the seriousness only a 5-year-old could manage. "I think you should love him. He seems nice. And he has the same eyes as me." Isabel hugged her daughter tighter. "You're pretty smart, you know that." "I know." The next morning, Isabel called Marcus. "I have conditions," she said without preamble. She could hear the relief in his voice. "Name them." "First, Lily's well-being comes before anything else. Before the company, before the IPO, before your image. If at any point this arrangement is hurting her, we stop. Immediately." "Agreed." "Second, we tell her an age-appropriate version of the truth. We don't lie to her about why we're doing this." "What does age-appropriate mean?" "We tell her that mommy and daddy are trying to be a family again. That we want to live together and see if we can make it work. We don't tell her about the money or the business reasons. But we also don't pretend this is some grand romance when it's not." There was a pause, and what if it becomes one? "What?" "A grand romance. What if, over the course of the year, we actually figure this out? What if we become the real thing?" Isabel's heart was pounding. "Then we deal with that when it happens, but we don't go into this expecting it." "Fair enough, what else?" "Third condition, separate bedrooms. We live together, we co-parent, we do the public appearances, but we maintain boundaries." "Okay." "And fourth," she took a deep breath, "we get Lily tested for the heart condition. Before we do anything else, we make sure she's okay. I've already scheduled an appointment with the best pediatric cardiologist in Seattle. This Friday, if that works for you." "It works." "So is that a yes? You'll do this?" Isabel looked around her small house, the life she'd built from nothing. She thought about the reporters still occasionally showing up, the way Lily asked about her father every night, the $100 million that could change everything. And underneath it all, the treacherous hope that maybe, just maybe, they could actually make this work. "Yes, I'll do it." Thank you, God, Isabel, thank you. Don't thank me yet. We haven't survived a week together. He laughed, and the sound transported her back 6 years to when things were simpler, when she'd been young and hopeful enough to think a contract marriage could never actually touch her heart. When do you want to move in? Marcus asked. Let's get through Lily's appointment first. Make sure she's okay. Then we can figure out logistics. Okay, I'll have my assistant coordinate with you. Marcus. Yeah. Don't make me regret this. I won't, I swear. Friday came too quickly. Isabel dressed Lily in her favorite outfit, purple leggings and a unicorn shirt, trying to keep things light and normal even though her stomach was in knots. Where are we going again? Lily asked as they drove to the hospital. To see a special doctor who's going to check your heart. Is my heart broken? No, baby. We just want to make sure it's working perfectly. It's like a checkup. Remember when you went to the dentist? And they counted my teeth. Exactly like that, except they're going to look at your heart instead. Marcus met them in the lobby and Lily's face lit up when she saw him. She ran over and grabbed his hand without hesitation. Something shifted in Isabel's chest at the sight. Her daughter, so comfortable with this man she barely knew. Biology was strange. The pediatric cardiologist, Dr. Sarah Mitchell, was kind and patient. She explained the tests to Lily in simple terms, let her hold the equipment, made it all feel like an adventure instead of something scary. Marcus held Lily's hand through the entire examination while Isabel stood back, watching her daughter be brave. After the initial tests, Dr. Mitchell pulled them into her office while a nurse entertained Lily in the waiting room. The good news is that Lily's heart looks structurally normal, Dr. Mitchell said. No signs of significant thickening or abnormalities. Isabel felt like she could breathe for the first time in days, so she doesn't have it. Not exactly. She does carry the genetic markers for HCM, which means she could develop it later, but right now her heart is healthy. Dr. Mitchell looked at both of them. This is something we'll need to monitor as she grows. Annual checkups, possibly more frequently during growth spurts. We'll watch for any changes. But she's okay right now. Marcus's voice was tight. She's okay right now, and with proper monitoring, we can catch any issues early. When they left the office with Lily between them, each holding one of her hands, Isabel felt Marcus squeeze their daughter's hand a little tighter. Later, after they'd dropped Lily at Nina's house for a playdate, Marcus pulled over at a park. I need a minute, he said, his voice rough. They sat on a bench overlooking a pond. Marcus had his head in his hands, shoulders shaking. Isabel realized with shock that he was crying. Hey, she put a hand on his back. She's okay. You heard the doctor, she's okay. I know, it's just, he looked up, tears streaming down his face. I was so scared. The whole drive there, all I could think was that I'd given her this terrible thing, that she'd have to live with it because of me. But she doesn't, not yet, maybe never. But she might, and that's my fault. It's not your fault, it's genetics, it's bad luck, but it's not your fault. She wiped his tears with her thumb, the gesture so intimate and familiar it startled them both. We'll take care of her, together. That's all we can do. He caught her hand, holding it against his face. I don't deserve you. Probably not, but you're stuck with me now. They stayed like that for a long moment, something unspoken passing between them. Then Marcus pulled back, clearing his throat. So moving day, when? This weekend. Lily's excited about the new adventure, as I've been calling it. I've had the guest room converted into a princess palace, pink everywhere. Is that okay? Isabel laughed despite herself. She's going to lose her mind. Good, he smiled, and it reached his eyes for the first time since she'd known him again. I want her to be happy there. I want you both to be happy. We'll see. Moving day was chaos. Marcus had sent professional movers to pack everything, which Nina complained about. He's already controlling everything. but Isabel was grateful for. Lily bounced around the new penthouse like a pinball, discovering the indoor pool, the game room, the massive television, and yes, the pink princess bedroom that made her scream with joy. "Mommy, mommy, look, there's a castle bed." The castle bed was, indeed, absurd. It had turrets and everything. Marcus stood in the doorway looking pleased with himself. "You went overboard," Isabel told him. "She's 5. 5-year-olds deserve to go overboard. She's going to be impossible to discipline now. That's what dads are for. Spoiling their daughters." The words hung in the air. Dads. He was really doing this, really committing to being Lily's father. That night, after Lily was asleep in her castle bed, Isabel stood on the balcony of the penthouse, looking out at the Seattle skyline. It was the same view she'd had 6 years ago during their first marriage. She'd stood in this exact spot the night she realized she was in love with Marcus. The night before everything fell apart. "Penny for your thoughts." Marcus joined her on the balcony, handing her a glass of wine. "Just thinking about the last time I was here." "Yeah, me too." He was quiet for a moment. "I used to come out here after you left, stand right here and wonder where you were, if you were okay, if you ever thought about me. I thought about you every day, even when I didn't want to." "Did you hate me?" "Sometimes. Mostly I hated myself for still loving you." He turned to look at her, past tense. "What?" "You said still loving, past tense." Isabel's heart was racing, figure of speech. "Was it?" They were standing too close. The night air was cool, but she felt warm. His eyes were on her lips, and she remembered, God, she remembered, what it felt like to kiss him, to lose herself in him completely. "We should go inside," she said, stepping back. "Early day tomorrow." "Right, of course," but he looked disappointed. That night, lying in her room, separate from his, as agreed, Isabel stared at the ceiling and tried to figure out what she was doing. This was supposed to be a business arrangement, a way to give Lily stability and financial security. It wasn't supposed to involve her heart. But her heart, as always, had other plans. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Marcus worked from home most days, taking calls from his office while Lily played nearby. Isabel managed her company remotely, though she went into the office 3 days a week. They had family dinners every night. Marcus read Lily bedtime stories. They went to the park on weekends. From the outside, they looked like any other family. But at night, lying in separate rooms, Isabel felt the distance between them like a physical ache. The interview with Jennifer's recommended journalist came 6 weeks into the arrangement. They sat in the penthouse living room, Lily safely at a friend's house, and answered questions about their relationship. "So you were married before?" the journalist Amanda Chen asked. "Yes," Marcus said, 6 years ago. "And it was a contract marriage, for business purposes." Isabel had insisted on honesty, so Marcus nodded. "Initially, yes. I needed to access my trust fund to build my company. Isabel needed financial security. It made sense at the time. But feelings developed." "For me, yes," Isabel said, glancing at Marcus. "I fell in love with him. That wasn't part of the contract." "And you?" Amanda turned to Marcus. "I was terrified of my feelings, so I pushed her away. It's the biggest regret of my life." "You didn't know she was pregnant when she left?" "No, I found out 6 weeks ago through a photo online." "That must have been a shock." "That's putting it mildly." Marcus reached for Isabel's hand. They'd agreed on displays of unity for the interview, but the way he squeezed her fingers felt real. "But finding out I had a daughter, it changed everything. It made me realize what I'd lost, what I'd thrown away because I was too scared to be vulnerable. And now you're trying again." "Now we're trying to be a family," Isabel said carefully. "For Lily's sake, but also for ours. We're seeing if we can make this work for real this time." "No more contracts." Marcus looked at Isabel, and there was something in his eyes that made her breath catch. No more contracts, just us, figuring it out day by day. After the interview, after Amanda had left with promises of a fair and honest article, Isabel poured herself a large glass of wine. That was exhausting. You were good, natural. Marcus sat beside her on the couch. Thank you for being honest about the contract. I know that wasn't easy. People deserve the truth, or at least part of it. What part are we leaving out? The part where I'm terrified this is all going to fall apart again. Marcus took the wine glass from her hand and set it down. Then he turned to face her, his expression serious. I need to tell you something. Okay. This isn't working. Isabel's stomach dropped. What? The separate bedrooms, the boundaries, the pretending we're just co-parenting roommates. He moved closer. I can't do it anymore, Isabel. I can't live with you and not tell you how I feel. I can't watch you every day and pretend my heart doesn't stop when you smile. I can't keep acting like this is just business when it hasn't been business since the day I met you. Marcus, I love you. I loved you 6 years ago. I loved you every day you were gone, and I love you now. And I know that's not what we agreed to. I know this was supposed to be about Lily and the company and putting on a good show. But I can't lie anymore. Not to you. Not to myself. Isabel couldn't breathe. You're just saying that because. Because why? Because I need you for the IPO. The IPO doesn't matter. None of it matters without you. He cupped her face in his hands. Tell me you don't feel it too. Tell me these last 6 weeks haven't meant anything and I'll back off. I'll stick to the contract, but if there's any chance at all, that you might feel the same way. She should stop him. Should remind him of all the reasons this was a bad idea. Should protect her heart the way she'd learned to over the past 6 years. Instead, she kissed him. It was like coming home. His hands in her hair, her body pressed against his. 6 years of longing and regret and love pouring into this one moment. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Marcus pressed his forehead to hers. Is that a yes? It's a maybe, it's a let's see what happens, it's a. He kissed her again, and she stopped trying to put it into words. The next morning, Lily found them asleep on the couch, tangled together, and announced with the confidence of a child who knew she'd been right all along. I knew you loved each other. Over the following months, they fell into something that felt remarkably like real life. Marcus stepped back from day-to-day operations of his company, delegating to trusted executives. Isabel merged her firm with Marcus's charitable foundation, creating something bigger than either of them could have built alone. Lily thrived with both parents present, her joy infectious. The IPO was a massive success. Marcus's company went public to incredible fanfare and the stock price soared. But when reporters asked him about it, he just shrugged and said, "It's just money. What matters is at home." On the 1-year anniversary of their contract, the day they were supposed to divorce and go their separate ways, Marcus took Isabel back to the park where they'd first met Lily together. I had my lawyer draw up papers, he said. Isabel's heart sank. Oh. Divorce papers, like we agreed. He pulled them out of his jacket, all official, ready to be signed. Right, of course. But I was thinking. He got down on one knee and Isabel's breath caught. Maybe instead of signing these, you could sign something else. He pulled out a ring box. Inside was a simple, beautiful ring, nothing like the ostentatious diamond he'd given her during their first marriage. Isabel Monroe, I'm not asking you to marry me for money or business or appearances. I'm asking you to marry me because I love you, because you're my best friend. Because I want to spend every day for the rest of my life showing you that I'm worthy of the second chance you gave me. His voice cracked. Will you marry me? For real this time? Tears were streaming down Isabel's face. You're an idiot. Is that a yes? Yes, yes, you absolute idiot, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, then stood and kissed her while Lily, who'd been hiding behind a tree with Nina, because of course they'd planned this, came running over yelling about how she was going to be a flower girl. That night, Marcus burned the divorce papers in the fireplace while Isabel watched. "No more contracts," he said. "No more running," she replied. "Just us. Just us." 2 years later, Lily stood on a soccer field in her team jersey, Marcus coaching from the sidelines, Isabel cheering from the bleachers with her hand resting on her pregnant belly. When Lily scored a goal, she ran to her parents, throwing herself into their arms. "Did you see? Did you see?" "We saw, baby," Isabel said, laughing. "You were amazing." Marcus kissed the top of Lily's head, then Isabel's lips. "Best contract I ever signed," he whispered. Isabel smiled. "Good thing we renegotiated the terms." And as Lily ran back to her team and the game continued, Isabel thought about how far they'd come. From a fake marriage to a real one. From running away to running toward each other. From broken hearts to healed ones. It hadn't been easy. There had been setbacks and arguments and moments when old fears resurfaced. But they'd worked through it together, building something real from the ashes of what had been broken. The contract that changed everything hadn't been the first one, with its clauses and payment schedules. It had been the unspoken one they made every day. To choose each other, to fight for their family, to believe that love was worth the risk. And it was, God, it really was.